Okay, so what are the key impacts that we've seen so far on micro businesses and SMEs? And we've been talking to businesses through January and already into early February. And some of the things we've found that are common issues, understanding what the zero tariffs and zero quotas are, but what are the conditions? The rules of origin and what do they mean? Import and export declarations, are they needed? What do I have to do as a business? How do I go about it? And the VAT changes are impacting a lot of businesses as well. So, for example, we've seen some micro businesses having products sent back by, they might sell online B2C, having products sent back by customers because they didn't realise they were going to have to pay the VAT in their own country, and it's adding cost to their product. So these are some of the early things that we've found, and I'm sure there's going to be other issues as well. So I said we'd come back to the rules of origin, but you may have heard the story of the Percy pigs. Now this obviously is M&S, and they were importing Percy pigs from Germany. And apparently Germany, and I didn't realise this until very recently, Germany are one of the major manufacturers of sweets in Europe. And they were importing these from Germany, which prior to the agreement was fine. They were then repackaging them into their own little packages in the UK and sending them out to the Republic of Ireland, amongst other destinations. Now, under the original prior to the agreement, that was absolutely no problem at all because there was absolutely no issues in doing that. However, under the new rules, because Percy pigs have been taken out of the customs circulation, therefore into free circulation, they now attract a tariff going back into the Republic of Ireland. So there was a lot of discussion about that, and it has caused M&S quite a few problems. So what are the rules of origin then? It's all about how much you import into the product when you manufacture it in the UK. So, for example, you may bring parts in from China and use those in your manufacturing process. Now, the parts that come in from China, if you're importing those directly into the EU, would normally attract a tariff going into the EU. What the EU is saying is that they still want that tariff if that product has not significantly changed. However, if you undertake a manufacturing process and change it, then as long as that percentage change is enough to meet the regulations for your product, then it becomes a product that is of UK origin and will then be able to be exported to Europe with zero tariffs. So it's all about understanding what elements of your product are UK manufactured, whether they've been imported, and how much value you've added to that product by changing it. A simple analogy I use, if you import salmon from, say, Canada into the UK and then continue just pass it on and sell it into Europe, then it's still Canadian salmon. So the origin is still Canada. If when you bring it into the UK, you smoke it, change it to UK smoked salmon, it can be classed as a UK product and therefore there would be no tariffs. So in simple terms, you need to understand the percentages of your increased value on that product. You can find that through your commodity codes. It will tell you there what percentage for your type of product you need to add as value to your manufacturing process. There is a thing called bilateral cumulation, which after the origin of the product has been decided, additional European input into that product, if it changes again, can be classed as UK origin. So you may then have a product you've created, but you need to add some more European input to it. So something from Germany, that can be classed as UK input. But again, your commodity codes will help you there as well. Okay, so import and export declarations. So this has caused a lot of businesses concern. Particularly small micro businesses who haven't had to do this before. It is your responsibility to make sure that all export and import documentation is handled correctly and it will generate paperwork for you potentially. But if you have a customs agent or freight forwarder who handles the exports particularly for you, they will do all that for you. And if you're importing product and it's just coming through the normal agents, so FedEx or DPD and people like that, they will actually manage that and charge you a fee potentially for doing it. So they'll probably get you may well get a call that says, we've got a parcel for you, but to release it you owe us XYZ amount of pounds. Or your supplier might charge you at the front end. We've seen that as well. So they might charge you, say, an extra 40 or 50 quid at the front end, and then the agent will complete all the paperwork and do all that for you. But at the moment, because they're probably handling these on what's known as special arrangements, so there's some deferments for 6 months, we call it easements for 6 months, you may not get charged the VAT straight away. So you need to account for and be aware that imports will attract VAT, and at some point you will get charged for those. If you're VAT registered, fine, you can recover that. If you can't, then you're gonna then have to have a bill to pay. So you need to account for that. So it says there's a question mark on costs there. I've already mentioned that there is a cost for completing that documentation. You'll either be charged by the courier importing it, you'll be charged by your customs agent when you export it, or you could be charged by your supplier in Europe if you're purchasing in Europe, and you might get charged at the front end there. So there are additional costs here. It's time as well and energy in terms of making sure that the evidence is correct. And we talked about rules of origin. Your freight forwarders and customs handlers will ask you to confirm what your origin of your product is. So you do need to be aware of what the origin of your product is, and do you comply with that. So VAT, what has changed? So before, VAT could be charged locally. So if you were selling a product in Europe, you just apply the VAT and recover it in the UK. If, however, now you're delivering to, say, Italy, for example, depending on what your terms are, you may be responsible for the VAT in Italy. So we talk about Incoterms. Some of you will know what that is, I'm sure, but effectively it's your terms of trading. If your Incoterms are on delivered duty paid, then you're going to be paying VAT in Italy, as well as any other local taxes or duties that are applicable in Italy. That's okay, you can get the VAT back, but you will need a VAT account in Italy. So obviously that's not going to be economical for you to do that. So be aware that your terms of trading with your business, your clients and the people you supply to in Europe may need to be looked at. So we'll call your Incoterms.